Hey everybody, Kenny here. So in this video, I'm just going to be going over a quick leveling technique available in the game Xenoblade Chronicles 3. Now, as a disclaimer before we start, first off, mine is a very small channel. I don't have anywhere near enough subscribers to be monetized in any way. So I don't think that if I were to use Nintendo Audio that I would receive any kind of like copyright strikes or anything. That said, I don't actually know for certain that's the case. So just to be safe, I'm not using any game audio. I'm only going to be using the footage. Secondly, as a spoiler warning, in order to perform this technique, you need to have reached about halfway through chapter 2 in the game, because that's when this system becomes available. But prior to that point, you will not be able to do this. This is something that's only available once you unlock the ability to do the particular thing I'm going to be showing you in this video. Also, to kind of avoid any potential spoilers, I have limited myself to using this technique in the footage in the area where you learn that technique, and so hopefully it won't affect the game in any kind of spoiler way. So just to start off, I just want to show that currently, with each of my party members, I have mastered, well, not mastered, I've reached level 10 in 3 of the starting 6 classes of each character. The reason that I'm showing it by showing the skill selection, since you have to reach level 10 in a class in order to unlock mastery skills, the reason I'm showing this instead of the class selection is that if I were to show the class selection, there would be some spoilers in there, and so I want to avoid that. Now, the technique that we're going to be using is the chain attack, which is this beautiful low-res image that I'm showing here. And we're going to be using the chain attack for great profits. That's the whole point here. As many profits as we can from using this technique. So that number there, you're going to hit that and exceed it most likely many times over. So the way we do this, you want to find an area where you can chain a bunch of battles together. So just a bunch of like normal battles, like, you kill an enemy, kill an enemy, kill an enemy, that leads you up to an elite enemy like this. Now you can do this anywhere. I'm using this one because it is the best grouping that you can find in this area that I limited myself to. So the best way to do this is, you run up to an enemy, you hit them, you run up to another enemy, you hit them, you let your party start taking on that group. If it seems they're being a little too aggressive with the enemies you're fighting, then use your tactics to have them follow the leader, so that way they don't end up actually killing whatever you're fighting, because you want to be luring everything towards the elite that you're going to be using for this technique. So once you get everyone together, you get them up to the boss, you've killed everything, hopefully your chain attack meter will already be pretty full up. Because what we want is to get to this point, fill it, and then use our chain attack once the our elite enemy is low enough in health that the chain attack will perform an overkill, because overkills are the way you get additional experience in the Xenoblade games. This technique isn't unique to Xenoblade Chronicles 2, Xenoblade Chronicles 3. This is from original Xenoblade Chronicles and Xenoblade Chronicles 2. You could do this. I never had a Wii U and never played Xenoblade Chronicles X, but I assume there's probably something like the chain attack in that as well. But the idea is you want to start your chain attack once the enemy is low enough that you will get the overkill as early as possible. So the best way to do this, you get them low, you have the first person in the chain attack be one of your attacker units. However, unlike the other 2 games, the chain attacks are actually very exploitable in this one. So you can actually guarantee that certain things happen in certain ways. So you want to always open up with an attacking unit, because the attacking unit will deal additional damage. I'm sorry, I don't know why I said that. Obviously they're going to deal additional damage to their attacking unit. because the attacking unit will fill the tactic points faster because they have the first blood mechanic. The first blood means that whatever that number is you see when you're selecting, that it's going to be much higher because they're the first one to attack. Then you want to have your healing units go. And the reason for this is that the healing units will prevent any overflow. So you want to hit the top, and then you want to go as far over as you can. So you always want to do your attacking unit first to get as far in as you can in filling that completion meter. Then you want to use your healing units to get you up to the 99%. And then you want to use a tank unit. You want to use your defender unit to go and get you over the 100. Because once you're over 100, that's when the actual chain attack occurs. The actual special that you selected at the start there doesn't occur until you break into 100% or higher. So you get to 99%, then you break over with your defender unit. And the reason you want your defender to be the one to do it is because when a defender breaks through, then it makes it that someone who was involved in that chain gets reactivated for the next one. And so you want to keep on going in that pattern and keep the chain going as long as you can so you can get your rewards as high as possible. Now, if you're only getting cool, that's fine. You don't have to aim for Bravo, you don't have to aim for Awesome. You can get to getting your C's. You're still going to be getting very, very good rewards from doing this. So you get your getting attack going, and you cycle through until you've reached a point where you don't have enough units to keep the flow going. Then you get your nice big reward here. And I know that some people are going to see this and they're going to be thinking, oh, but can't you just farm the unique enemies and cut out a lot of the lead up? And you can, but honestly, I came up with this method not because I didn't think of using the uniques. I have tried farming the uniques. It's just that I feel this is a much more accessible option because the uniques are much stronger than the elites, and it's also much faster and more rewarding. Both much faster and rewarding because you're killing normal enemies to get to your elite enemy. So you're getting all the XP and class points from just beating through all of them on the lead up, and then you get the massive overflow from your overkill bonus. Whereas if you were to do a unique enemy, then it's going to take you much longer to get them down low enough to start your chain attack to make sure that you're getting the most out of it. Because once again, you want to make sure that the very first part of the chain is where the overkill happens. Also, kind of, if you can, this isn't a must, but if you can, try to get a topple, right from the get-go. Whether the topple happens before you start the chain attack, or if you want to get the topple going once you're in the chain attack, having them in the topple state will increase the amount of damage you're getting right away. So if you can, aim for starting up that way, just so you can pretty much guarantee that you hit the overkill as quick as possible. It's just a little side tip. But once you have reached the point where you're able to do this technique, I definitely highly recommend doing it the elite way and not the unique way. Once again, there are uniques you probably can do a lot quicker, but for the most part, not elites. The uniques are incredibly just HP heavy. They just have so much more health than an elite of the same level. And a lot of times, even if you're much higher level than them, a lot of times the uniques can still knock out a critical hit that'll kill one of your characters in one shot. So it's not really worth it, but I definitely recommend aiming for chaining groups of normal enemies into an elite enemy that you're going to do a chain attack on, because I find that this is the fastest way to level up your classes, just so you don't have to think about, do I need to switch my party around again just to get some more mastery skills or more arts, even though I only really want this character to be using that class or this character to use other class. You know, this definitely saves you on a lot of time when it comes to that kind of thing. But I'm just going to add this in right here after the fact, just to make sure I include it, because I meant to say it during my original voiceover. Then I realized as I was listening through the footage that I had forgotten, so I'm just in post putting this in the middle of what I was just saying. Once you're done doing a chain like this, if you want to do it again, the quickest way is just go to a safe spot, save the game, exit to the menu, and reload. That's the fastest way to get everything back. You could try quick traveling to a separate region and then coming back, but that takes a lot longer, and so this just saves you time. Just save, turn to menu, reload, and everything will have respawned again. Wanted to add this in real quick. Because personally, I'm not actually a fan of the attacker classes that you have available to you from the start. I find them very boring. Both the standard, Monado set that Noah uses, or the ogre set that Senna uses. I'm not a fan of that. But there are attacker classes you get later on that are more fun to use. But personally, I actually prefer both of the healer classes over the attacker classes, and I prefer a Mio Zephyr class. They're just more interesting to use, since the only real mechanic available to the attacker classes is get in a certain position so you can build your roll gauge or whatever. Anyways, so hopefully this video helps you save some time in Xenoblade Chronicles 3. It's not like it's a particularly difficult game, but there will be times when you're going to have an unbalanced party, just because unfortunately the designers didn't think through the class selection. So you will reach a point where the number of classes available to you put you in a position where if you want everyone to continue leveling up classes, then you're going to have to do an unbalanced party, because there's less defenders and healers than there are attackers in the game. So in those situations, you definitely want to level up quickly just to get those classes out of the way so you can keep moving with the game. Anyways, thanks for checking out. If you enjoyed this video, let me know.